Solutions. Doug, take it away.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Scotty, for keeping the energy high, and to Tiffany for that great inspiration this morning. Wow, the lights really are bright up here today, but hope day one was great for everybody here. We love coming together as an international operating team and family. And as we're starting our second day here, we're really focused on what can we take away from the IOC and back to our operation every day to make our lives better. I do want to, before we start here, however, mention that the topics and discussion we're going to have for the next 15 minutes could be sensitive, could be impactful, because we're going to be talking about real people and real stories, and want to just make folks aware who may have sensitivities to it that we're going to be getting real over the next 15 minutes. So with that, the topic we're going to be talking about today is human trafficking. It's happening in a lot of places, across a lot of venues, and it's definitely happening here in aviation. I think it goes unrecognized by many of us because we're just not tapped into the visual signs of it, and we may not know what to do should we see it actually happening. The government has also identified this as a concern, and they have created a name for it, irregular migration, which some of you may be familiar with. So we know that there's a government concern. We know that we have an opportunity to deal with it and to make our industry a part of the solution. So NBAA, along with others in the community, have done a lot of work over the last couple of years to try and address this. Over the last few years, NBAA has partnered with the Department of Homeland Security, DHS, the Air Charter Association in Europe, the European Business Aviation Association, EBAA, and others to equip our industry with real practical tools. And also previously at NBAA base, we have held sessions that have tried to deliver some real insights to our community about how we can be part of the solution. But I think as many of you know, you're here for solutions. You are here to take away some actionable items, and that's what we're going to talk about here this morning. We're expanding our efforts to address human trafficking through a new collaboration. We've teamed up with Signature Aviation and the American Association of Airport Executives, AAAE, on a new program that's going to combat human trafficking, including some very specific business aviation tailored information on simple mitigation steps that we can take to be part of the solution in our daily lives. And we're going to touch on those solutions in just a minute, but I think it's important that before we do, that we underscore that this is about real people, real victims of human trafficking. And we have someone with us today who has a real-life lived experience in human trafficking. She is a survivor, and she has turned that adversity into action. And she is a consultant with the work that we're doing with Signature and with AAAE to develop some real practical tools for you. So with that, please join me in welcoming Shamere McKenzie, CEO of the Sungate Foundation, to the stage. Shamere.
Doug, thank you so much for that introduction. And thank you all for your warm welcome. I'm grateful to the NBAA, AAAE, Signature Aviation, and this industry for making it a priority to confront human trafficking head on. I want to begin with a question. Do you see me? Do you really see me? By every statistic, survival rate, I should not be standing before you here. I should be dead. forgotten. Human trafficking is not something I read about, watched on TV, or researched. Human trafficking was my life for 18 months. 18 months to what I describe as torture in every sense of the word torture. You see, years ago, I was a student at St. John's University. I was a student athlete, and then I lost my scholarship. Around that same time, I met a man who seemed kind and concerned about me. When I told him I was working overtime to save money for my tuition, he offered to help me. His help was a trap. Financial stress became physical and psychological abuse. I was beaten, raped, sodomized. I had several near-death experiences. One time when I refused my trafficker's command, he placed a gun in my mouth and he pulled the trigger. I witnessed the same violence inflicted on other young girls, including minors. You see, escape didn't feel possible. The first time I wanted to leave, he punched me, kicked me with his steel-toe Timberland boots, and choked me until I lost consciousness. He said I could never leave, or he would kill me and my family. I believed him. I traveled through airports and hotels in cities just like the ones you operate in every day. No one stopped us, and I often wondered, do they see me? Trafficking doesn't thrive because people don't see it. It thrives because people don't report it. Many stay silent out of fear of being wrong, of disrupting travel, of stepping outside their role. But silence is not neutral. Silence is a decision. For me, that silence was almost fatal. The day my nightmare finally ended, I heard my trafficker loading his gun. And for a long time, I believed death was my only escape. But on that day, I did not want to die. So I ran. I had no plan. I just knew I had to move. Freedom doesn't start with a strategy. Sometimes it starts with a decision. And in that chaos, God sent me what I call my guardian angel. A man stepped in to help me escape. He didn't know my full story, but he saw enough to act. He saw me. If he stood in this room today, I wouldn't be able to recognize his face. But I'll never forget what he did. My trafficker is now serving more than 2 decades in federal prison for trafficking underage girls, one as young as 12. Justice was served. But trafficking did not end with my escape. It continues to move across borders through legitimate industries, including travel, hospitality, and business aviation. You may never encounter it, but if you do, you may be the only person in the hotel lobby, the FBO, on the ramp, who recognizes that something isn't right. As aviators, you follow checklists. You scan for anomalies and mitigate risk before it escalates. The same instincts apply here. You may observe a young passenger who never speaks for herself, someone who's controlling her documents, right? Frequent short trips that doesn't make sense. Fear that doesn't match the setting. You're not here to investigate. You are there to notice and report. Awareness creates interruption. After I escaped, education changed my life. I earned my degree, and I rebuilt my future. Today, I serve as the CEO for the Sungate Foundation, where we raise funds to provide educational scholarships to survivors. Education restores autonomy. It restores dignity. It restores opportunity. I need you to hear this part clearly, like really clearly. I am not a victim because I'm no longer enslaved. I'm not a survivor because we're all surviving something. I am a liberator, one who has broken free from the chains of her past and is determined to make a difference in the lives of others. Earlier I asked, do you see me? Now I ask, do you see them? Do you see the young girl praying that someone will notice? Do you see the fear in her silence? Do you see what traffickers hope you ignore? Traffickers depend on invisibility. Your attention disrupts that invisibility. Your commitment to training is not procedural. It's protective. It's powerful. It's life-altering. You stand in spaces where freedom can either protect or it can steal. Thank you for listening. Thank you for leaning in. And most of all, thank you for keeping your eyes open. Thank you.
Thank you, Shamere. I think that you have a very powerful story, and I'm glad that you're with us today to share that. It takes partners, it takes a team for us to be part of the solution, and I'm grateful that companies like Signature Aviation are stepping up to help raise the awareness of human trafficking. And they're not just creating tools for their employees, they're creating tools for all of us. This information is invaluable, and they're here with us today to talk about it. This morning, I'm very grateful to welcome Amanda Henderson, the General Manager of Signature's San Diego location, to tell us about their commitment and the tools that they've developed that we can all use to be part of the solution. Amanda.
Thank you. Good morning. Signature Aviation is one of the largest FBO jet terminals in the world. With that global outreach comes a great responsibility to bring awareness to human trafficking. At the core of the issue, it's very simple. We can't report what we don't recognize. If we expect action, we must build the awareness and provide people with the tools that they need to say something and do something. In business aviation, in years like this, we have global events. We have Super Bowl, we have FIFA, and we have NASCAR coming here just in San Diego this year. With these events, it brings increased movement, faster pace, and a higher risk. And we ask ourselves as an industry, are we ready? Do we have the tools that we need? When we researched trafficking training, there wasn't anything that was specific to the FBO environment, nothing that actually was what we do every day in our unique situations. So we created our own. We developed training specifically for that FBO environment, practical, scenario-based for our frontline team members to recognize. We want them to also respond, but knowledge alone is not enough. Paying attention is the first step. We have busy days. We have the same thing every day. Paying attention and trust your intuition. Never, ever underestimate your intuition. We are trained in a business setting that facts rule over feelings. In these unique situations, trust yourself. It could save a life. We knew that the effort couldn't stop with the Signature organization. That's why we partnered with AAA. We want to expand this training across our aviation community. The training is free. It's accessible to all of you in your app today. Please check it out, put it around your organization, bring it to your onboarding, bring it to your shift briefs, because the more we know, the more we can respond. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Amanda. As we said earlier, this is about people. And trafficking can look ordinary from the outside unless you're equipped with the tools to spot it and resources to tap into when you see it. So I think from all of us up here on the stage today, we're simply asking for you to keep your eyes open. On the app, as Amanda noted, you will find several resources that will allow you to take some of this training back to your operation and to share with your teammates. Consider using this as part of your briefings to help make sure that our teams on the front line are equipped with opportunities to be part of the solution. Between now and NBAA base, NBAA will be working on additional resources that we will make sure are shared with you as soon as they are ready. I think we can all appreciate that aviation is at its strongest when we are all part of the same team. And with that, I want to thank both of you for joining us here today, Shamere for your leadership and Amanda for Signature's strong support, and for all of you for looking at this as an opportunity for our community to be part of that solution. With that, I'm going to turn it back to Scotty for the rest of our day's programming. Thank you all.
Thank you, Doug.